And I am going to bring you a video this evening on Tuesday evening. It happens to be my Tuesday video that I did on Facebook this morning, and it's doing dry embossing on vellum. I know that's a technique that's been around for a long, long time, but there's always new stampers and always people that haven't seen this before, so I thought I would do a couple cards with it today. So I hope that you enjoy them. And also, there's a couple things I want to tell you about. Stampin' Up's online exclusives are up, the new March ones, and that's one of the sets that's in there I'm going to be using today. Um, Also, I have a new, um, what do I want to say? I have a new offer, not joint offer, but a uh, customer order offer that if you order $50 from me, I will send you um, a link to 2 PDFs and then one video. Um, it's with a collaboration of like 6 other girls that I'm with that we do this. 3 of us do it every month. So anyway, 3 different people every month. I should say that. So anyway, I'll show you those pictures, and I hope that didn't bother my video. My phone just rang. I forgot to turn it off. So anyway, um, back to what I was saying. I'll show you the pictures when I turn the phone down. We also have the new product of the month for Stampin' Up! $75 order. You can order it for $5. It's a cute stamp set this time. I'll show you that as we turn the phone down, or the camera down. It's my phone. So anyway, let's do that and we can get started on these cards. So let me see if I can turn it around. There we go. Now y'all just see is a blank space, isn't it? Blank space. So here is for the project of the month for me and my friends. This is a sneak peek of what the cards are. These are the cards. That's the video. So anyway, they are springy cards, which is it's March. It should be springy, right? So it's free with a $50 product purchase from me. And then here is the little stamp set. And I love it. You have the deer, and then you have the inside that you can just stamp. And we have a little goose and a little rabbit. Then we have this little, it's leaves and like hearts that look like flowers. And this goes under the image here for like little grass and stuff. I think those are so cute. So, and that is with a $75 order. You can order that for $5 while supplies last, and that is up on my website. So here's the cards we're going to be doing. I have a couple made with a couple different embossing folders. Here is one of them. Something's on it. Probably gold glue spots. Here's another one, and I've done them different ways. This is with dry brushing of the ink on there. This is just using the same color paper as my background. And then we have this one right here with the daisies. That is rather new. The embossing folder, it's in this new March online exclusives so that you can see that. And the sets that we're using, what I do with them. I moved them out of my way. I moved them so far out of my way that they don't appear to be here. What did I just do with those? I had them. Oh, I see. I covered them up. I laid stuff on top of them. Imagine that. So here are the dies, and here's what the stamp set looks like. It's called Springtime Scenes for both of them. Here's the stamps. We're going to be using the ladybug. We're going to be using the saying Sweet Springtime. And then the dies, I've used this die, the little circle. I've used this die, and I've used this die. And I also will be using this die on my sentiment, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So that's what we used. And here, if you, well, just tore that up. If here you can see the little jagged edge there, I laid a leaf on there and just cut it as a jagged edge. I did that on all three of them. It gave it a little bit of, just a little bit more different dimension and stuff. So let's lay these to the side so we can get started on our cards. And I have everything over here. La-di-da. Here's one. This is, if I decide to do that way, we've got this to color. And then we have either or. This is the die, the plain circle die. It cuts a frame. It also cuts the circle. And you can add that behind here, or I don't know what I did with that other circle. Here it is. This one I cut out earlier, and here's the middle of it that you can just do this. You can add that like that. This can go on top of that. You have this on the background, or you can leave it open like I did on this card right here. So there's lots of different things you can do with that one. And then here it is plain of the three different, well, this is the same. I just cut it out of two different colors. So we have all of this to work with. So we're going to put that to the side for a minute, because what we're going to do right now, we're going to fold our cards, which are 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We will fold that over, and then we are going to just give it a little tuck there. I have to score it so it lays flat. I like for my cards to lay flat when I'm working on them, or as flat as I can, depending on what we're doing with them. But right now, we just need them to be flat. I get hair. That did not have a hair on it a while ago. I turned it over. So let's turn our cards over the right way. And what I'm going to do is take these two and just go ahead and I'm going to glue them together and then put them on my card. This is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. This is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And that's going to be the same way. We're using the exact same colors on both cards. I put that the wrong way. Let's make sure I did this one the right way. Yep, it's the right way. Okay. So, I'm going to just... I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And that way we'll get these out of our way. And I should turn my video on so I can see it and make sure that my stuff looks all right. Let's try that. Let me see. Need to refresh that. There we go. I started to say, I don't even see me on here. That's not good. So I'm going to pull this up, and that way I can see what we're doing. Maybe. We'll let it do its little thing here. And there we go. There we go. So if you would like to comment and tell me where you're from, or just say hey or whatever, that would be nice. So let's glue both of these onto our card base. And then that's out of our way, and we just have to work with our vellum and then put our card together. And I did not emboss the vellum yet because I wanted you to see me doing that. I'm going to move this up a little bit. It looks like I'm too close. you know, where I set my camera for my Facebook Lives and where I set them for the YouTube Lives are two different spaces. And I don't know why that is, but it is. So, let's see here. There we go. I hope that looks okay to you guys. Let's put these up here. We're going to move these. We're going to bring in the embossing machine. We're going to do two other embossing folders that we haven't seen yet done with this idea. So I need to get this plate out, and I am going to try this. And the reason being, it cuts a deep cut, and I'm going to see if it cuts the vellum. I don't want it to, but we're gonna check it out. And when you're doing vellum, you only want to pass it through one time. Don't bring it back through. That helps tear your vellum up a little bit. Oh, I forgot to take the other things off. That wasn't so smart. 1, 2, yep. That's what we had to take off. Now let's put this back on there. That feels better. Shakes the table a little bit. I'm sorry. It's going to hear a big bang. There we go. So let's see if it tore the vellum up. Let's hope not. Just going to slide that off to the side. And as you can see, it did tear it some. We can probably still use that on a card though, because we can put a glue dot back there to hold it together. We're going to see how that works, okay? Because some of these, because that's such a deep line, I did not want to, didn't know if I wanted to really do that or not. So now I haven't used this one yet. Let's see what this one does. And I think I got the right plate. Sometimes I keep forgetting what these, I'm used to 3D embossing folders. Yeah, there we go. Oops. There we go. You know you get to the end when you do that. This one turned out really pretty. Look at that. That's really pretty. So, I don't know if I want to use this or not. No, look, it's going to just keep tearing. Let's get another piece of vellum. I should have had that ready, but I was going in with confidence that it would work. But as you can see, it did not. So I'm going to cut this 5 by 3 3/4 real quick. I want to get something that's not going to cut that. This might be good. Let's do the swirls. Let's do these swirls. So I'm going to do these. This is an older folder. But we can use it. Should be the same one we just used. Let's see. Tried to run it through so it wouldn't click so loud. So there's that one. I think they're all pretty with the way that they go. So let's get all this out of our way. We'll have to use it again in a minute when we do our sentiment, but that'll be about it. So let's bring this through here, put our bottom plate on. Use that side of it. Hold those bottom plates in there like that. And here we go. So now let's finish putting our cards together. And what we want to do is we want to use this piece first, the vellum. We want to just go ahead and add our pieces to that. So I want to see if I want to use this or here. Let's see what these look like on here. I like that on there. We'll put this one on. I think I'm going to do the lighter one though. I'm going to take this with Pretty Peacock because that's the color of paper that I'm using, and we're going to just add some color to that. I'm going to bring this in because I can be messy. Let's bring this in. We will get something we can use with Pretty Peacock. I don't want that one. I want something with more green in it. Greens and blues, this is it. So I'm just going to put some color on here. Wipe it off. And I'm just going to add color around on. And I'm going to leave some of it light, some of it dark. Just going around my edges really good. Not re-inking, I want it to be kind of soft. So there we go. That's what we're going to do with that. So we can put that up. I always kind of clean my brush out. And there we go. There we go. So with this one, this is going to go over here. Okay. This one, I am going to add this behind there because it gives it a little bit more stability to do that. So I'm going to bring in my other craft mat just so I don't get ink all over this one that I've got laying here. And I'm going to just add some glue around this circle, just enough that it will not leak out all over the place. Just enough to hold it together. So let's put this down. There we go. Nice and easy. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, and I gotta find out where I laid them, right in under everything again. I am going to take this here, and I am going to cut the edge. I'm going to take and cut it really thin, and I'm going to cut two of them just like this. There's one. And I'm using the mini glue dots, the edges, because it has a nice thick edge on the sides of it. And there is that one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to peel one edge off. And then I'm just going to start this on that little edge there. And I'm going to keep turning it in a circle. It was sliding towards me. So there we go. Then I'm going to take the other one. I'm going to peel that off. And I'm going to go around in the circle again. And that's going to pop this up. And the reason why I'm using this, like, and cutting it thin is because it's too small to put even the mini dimensionals on the edges. So if I did it this way, I'll get it to stick. So let's just peel. Well, there's one part peeled. These little bitty pieces don't want to get a hold of. Okay, there's one. Now we'll peel the other one. Why is it the littler something is, the harder it is to work it? Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just squish all this around, make sure it's underneath my didn't look like it was going to be seen there, but there's a tiny bit. Okay, let's bring it over here. And I'm just going to put this at an angle and stick it on here. So that's what we have with that one. We're going to take this one and we're going, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to use the mini dots. And I'm just going to put these at the back where we can't see. Whoops, that one's not close enough. Well, I got it in there before. I don't know what my problem is. There we go. I'm going to go around this outside edge real quick first. Put these where I know that they probably will not be seen. So we'll have our edge lifted up, which to me is a good thing. When you can have your edge kind of lifted. I'm going to put one more right in here, close to the edge. And then what I'm going to do is on the center, where there's some of the bigger leaves, or they are matched together, I'm going to just add some more dots here and there, because I want it to hold up my middle really well. There we go. So I'm just going to make sure these are all stuck down. It's one thing good about coloring them, you can tell that. Then you can just peel away. And it's much easier if you take and kind of press down on those. They won't try to peel back up on you as bad when you're trying to take all these off. So there we go with that. And then we'll just add this to this card. You just want to lay that down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our two cards. We're going to take glue dots this time, and I'm just going to peel off some. And on this one, I'm going to take where the glue dots are, and I'm going to try to stick them over where I have some of the dimensionals, because I know that they are not going to be seen, and it just helps. Of course, you got to keep in mind where all of your dimensionals are, and which I kind of don't know. But I just want some of these on here, and it will hold my card down. I want it there. Now I want to lift up. There we go. So I'll bring this in, and I'm actually going to put a glue dot right here, because that is where my sentiment is going to go. And I can go ahead and add one down in that area. So I'm going to put it about down in there. My fingers are sticking to the other glue dots. And I'm going to put one right here. There we go. Started to say that was upside down. This toward just a little bit. You really have to use what embossing folders you use. I should have used the ones I knew for sure, right? So I'm going to put, because I'm hoping it doesn't show, and I don't think it will. Let me pick this up. Oh, it's still on my paper. I got it down here on the edge of my table. It did not want to come off. And it didn't come off. That was crazy. Let's try it again. Try it again. It didn't stay on. It came back off. Try it again. So there we go. We got it. And this one is a little bit more trickier to do that. And luckily you can't see them really bad. What I'm going to do is take it down in the area where I put the dimensional tape. And I'm just going to add these around there. And I'm going to add this on here. Put it back up here in this window. So I'm just going to add this on here. Press where those were. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do our sentiments. And I have a piece of paper. And we're going to use the back side. The other side has stuff stamped on it that I don't want to use. So we'll do it this way. We will stamp Sweet Springtime in the Pretty Peacock. So there we have that. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in my little paper trimmer. And I'm going to trim those. And the last thing I'm going to do is watercolor the ladybugs. So you can see that if you want to. So there we go with that one. I'm going to put this one in here too. There we go. Bring in the embossing machine real quick. And I am going to get out the leaf that I used earlier. I'm going to put these on a magnetic sheet, so they're just all in here all over the place for the time being. So I'm going to bring this in. Let's pull this back out. I always put those together so they're in one place. So I'm just going to bring this in and lay it whatever way that I feel the need to. I'm going to go this way. And that's just going to cut that at a different type of angle of what. And I'm just rolling it back for no other reason, so it'll be in place for me to do the next one. So there's one that we can have. Now let's do the next one. Just gives you a little something extra. I'm going to cut this one this way. It gives you just a little something extra as far as the dimension, the cutting dimension, and that. And there's that one. So, can't get that piece of paper off of there. I tell you what, they took my fingernail off about 3 weeks ago, and there's no fingernail there, and so it is so hard to try to pick up something with your index finger. You never know how much you use that until it's not there to use. I'll say that. So I am going to take and just glue this on, and that way while it's gluing dry, we'll color the ladybugs. And I'm going to watercolor them with watercolor pencils and a blender pen. It's just an easy way to do it. Turn that over. There we go. Turn this one over too. Make sure that it's just on there really good. Let's get 2 ladybugs out. I have a bunch of them cut. So I stamped those and used the die to get them ready. I'm using basic black and real red. So let's do the real red first. And I'm just going to add some color right there. I'm not going to fill it all in because I want some light spots and some dark spots. We'll do that on both of them. Why do you always have to turn something always the same way when you're coloring? It's just like, that's how I want it. Just want to make sure I get these little corners with some red in them. Well, that one doesn't even want to color that little corner. There we go. I'm going to bring in the blender pen. And I'm just going to swirl in a circle to blend some of that red out. Same thing here. I'm just going to blend. I'm not going to fill it all in red. I'm going to have it lighter. And this is an easy way to watercolor. It's not as messy. So there you go. And then what you want to do is, I'm just going to bring this scrap piece in for a second. And you just want to clean that out of your blender pen. It may stain, and that's okay. But as long as you get clear on your paper, you've got all of the color out. And that works out really, really well. Now I'm going to take the black and I'm going to just color in my circles here. And you can leave these without watercoloring, without blending them, or you can blend them if you want. I'll show you the difference. I'll do one with blending and one without with the blender pen. I love to color. I love to color as a little girl too. It's one of my favorite things to do. I colored a lot with my kids too when they were growing up. We would color, especially me and my daughter. You know how boys are. They like it, then they don't. He more liked to get dirty and play. Typical little boys. So you just want to color those in real good. Okay. I'm going to watercolor this one with my blender pen, and then I'll hold it up and let you see the difference to the next one. It does make it a little softer because it blends those pencil marks out so you don't see them as much. So I will show you the difference on that. Let me go ahead and just, when you got black, you really need to work it out until you have no more black in your pen, because you don't want that to get on another color. So let me hold these two up, and that's what we have. You can't see too much difference. This one's watercolored. It's just a little softer look in there. So what we're going to do here is I am going to put on this one, we're going to put two dimensionals, one at the top and one at the bottom. And on this one, we're just going to put one at the bottom. And the reason being, on this one where I'm going to put it, it's going to be over top of where I have the dimensionals, so I'm going to have that into this area here. And then we'll add some gemstones, and so when I put it over that, then there's one dimensional, here's the other, and then that one's already popped up, so it holds it up really well. This one, I'm going to take, where I'm going to put it, I'm going to decide here. I think I'm going to put it right there so that I can put some glue on that leaf because that is already popped up at that end. And then this will pop up where he's on the vellum, like so. So there's that. Now, last thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in my basic rhinestones. But I want them to be not with that. Not with that, I don't want it. I want this one right here. I'm going to take my Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blend, and I'm just going to color these. That end is messed up. I think I'm going to have to get the darker color. That end has been used and abused by me. And I hate to buy new ones because I use that end so much, but that's the end I like to color with. So let's go with the darker one. Here we go. Now we can see the color. 2, 4, 5, 6. Now what I do when I do that, I just take these, and I'm not going to shake them under the camera because it could get you dizzy. But I'm just shaking it like this for a minute, just to kind of dry those. They dry really fast. I'm going to take my pick tool, and I'm going to add them to my card. So we'll just bring them in and add them. There's that one. And this one, I think I'm going to put them on the circle, on the inside on the plain piece of vellum where it's not embossed. And then I'll put this one over here. So there's our 2 cards. So it's easy. Vellum is delicate, so you have to be careful. And like I did the one folder to see how it would do for us, it did cut it pretty bad, so I didn't use it. Now I can take, one thing about glue dots, I can take where that's sticking up. Sometimes, see this one laid flat, I didn't have to worry about it. But I can take and just put this here. Lift that up, and you won't be able to see that. So I'm going to put one on each side. It sticks better to the vellum than it does to the... I'm going to try sticking it to the vellum. Although I did stick a piece there earlier. It doesn't want to come loose. There we go. And stick those sides down. Put one on that corner too, I do believe. This embossing folder liked to have it a little bit raised, didn't it? So let's just adhere that to the vellum and put it down. And you can't see those through there, so you don't want to put a lot like that, but this is good. So there's the 2 cards we did tonight. Here's the 2 I did this morning. And as you can see, they're all with different embossing folders. And then here's the one I did as my sample. So we have all different kinds of stuff. Very pretty. Easy to do. So I hope you give it a try. It would be great. And just remember, I have a video on Saturday, so I hope to see you then. And I will talk to all of you later, and have a great day. Bye.